Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL. Don't panic. There's a storm coming, folks. There is a big storm coming. Dark clouds are gathering, ill winds are blowing, and a deluge of rain is to come. And I'm actually not talking about my FPL team. There is actually a monsoon about to hit New Zealand, and it's coming right through the North Highlands, and it's going to hit my house. I have visions. of me under a bed, trees crashing down, missiles flying around the garden. Yeah, and rain lashing down, wondering whether we're going to get flooded out, and me hiding under the bed, stressing the hell out, wondering what the hell is the score between Newcastle and Crystal Palace. Yeah, the electricity's out anyway, so my phone is dead. Yeah, there really is a storm coming. So I'm going to get this one out just in case, and we'll be battening down that. Well, I've already battened down the hatches. It's going to be coming in sometime in the next 12 hours, and I'll be in for a couple of days. So okay, what do I want to cover? So yeah, as I might not, a strong possibility I might not get online for a couple of days. I'm going to go through the game week 33 team selection and some almost definite decisions I've made there. I think I'm almost set on what I'm going to do, and then look at how that actually affects game week 34, the blank, and some of my reasoning behind what I'm doing. I'm certainly not optimized, but I might get lucky. Currently, just after the match that was just played yesterday, I'm still somehow clinging on to a small green, despite all the bench boosters and the triple captainers and some people playing the assistant manager. So at the moment, game week 32 has gone better than I could have possibly imagined, and that's obviously thanks to one man, Mr. Harvey Barnes, my Harvey Angel. Can he do something similar for me in the double match between Palace and Newcastle? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. At the moment, I'm feeling fairly good, given Crystal Palace's defensive performance against Man City. I'm feeling fairly good about having three Newcastle attackers, but of course there is a bit of a minute's risk there now with Barnes, or indeed potentially Murphy, I suppose. That Anthony Gordon is going to eat into one or both of their minutes in some way, shape, or form. But that was a risk I took, and quite honestly, at the moment, I'm happy. They're both going to have minutes. One of them will certainly get most of the match, and one of them will, at most probably get 60, and at worst start on the bench and come on for 30. And the form they're in, I'm not too unhappy with that. I'm not too unhappy with that. It creates probably more of a problem for me, or a potential problem, I guess, in blank 34. Anyway, let's just have a look at how we're going to, at the moment, line up for 33. It's certainly not optimized, but I'm not overly unhappy with it. Hope that all worked. Okay. So yeah, Henderson in goal. That's obviously not going to change. He's got the double. I just have to hope for a bit of luck there. Maybe some save points, you just never know. I mean, Palace have shown, and Guehi will be back and embedded in the team, so you never know. There might be a sneaky little clean sheet in there and a few save points. So see how that goes. Gavardio, everyone's got him. It's pretty standard. Too late to change that now. If I had my time over again, maybe I would. Slight chance, I guess, he could get moved more into the attacking role with there's a lad back from injury. Can't remember his name, but could potentially mean that he might get one of those games with some time out on the wing, and so we can see the old-fashioned Gavardio that we know and love. We're getting at least one or two chances every match. Yeah, we know everyone's got him, so perfectly standard there, I think, going into this double. So I think that's fine. So Kanate, yeah, single game week player against Leicester. So I'm happy. I'm happy enough with that. Hopefully Leicester go back to their blanking ways, and you never know. Kanati might even get a goal. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. As I look, I'll just talk about it so at the moment I'm on 5 doublers, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Salah, obviously another single game weaker. But a great fixture against Leicester, and Leicester are woeful. So I'm happy having Salah going up against pretty much any doubler at the moment, because a lot of those doublers could end up being just singlers or no minutes at allers. And similarly, Bowen, it's a great fixture, and if West Ham do get a few, there's a good chance that Bowen will be involved in any goals that they score. Similarly in Bomo, good fixture, um, so totally happy with that. Barnes or potentially Murphy, potentially both. I have to think about that, and that's going to be largely driven, I think, by what I see in terms of the Gordon rotations, and how much Gordon's eating into those minutes um, in the Palace Newcastle match. But again, not happy. And they're going to be coming up. I just caught up with that Villa match. Um, and an amazing effort against PSG. I thought they were going to do it. I hope that I would like them to have done it, because it will pose more questions, I think, for managers that are thinking of bringing in Villa assets. And I still think those questions are there, by the way. And I will talk to that in a minute. So we'll have Barnes in there for now. I think it is. Yes, it's Barnes and Murphy. It's going to be Barnes and Murphy in there at the moment. Mamouche, everyone's got him. Captain's armband on him. It seems the sensible choice. There's a little temptation just to, go for Salah as a single game week or in a fixture like that. But I think it's going to be Marmouche. And Mateta, yeah, feels doesn't feel great at the moment. Mateta does it. Unfortunately, I think the stuff that I spoke about some weeks back when I was thinking about bringing in Mateta was, are we going to see Mateta getting back to his old self after an injury like that? It was a nasty, nasty injury, and he's not been himself. I know he scored a great goal there, game week or two back, but yeah, I think Des Prophet of Doom is coming true here a little bit. With that early sub not being himself. But I certainly think he'll start one, if not both, of these matches. And at this stage, it can't be changed. He's there. I think just about everyone's got him, so it's the same for everyone. So no difference there. Yeah, and Isak, another single game player, obviously. But again, against an Aston Villa side, that have exerted themselves massively, and there could be big rotations there. So at the moment, that does leave me with Murphy, Milenkovic, and Gabriel still gathering dust, and Jose sat on the bench, which that's all fine for now. To keep these things on. Bear with me. So let's just talk about this. I've only got 5 doublers. Now I know that's not ideal, but thinking about this logically, I'll just scribble down a few names here. My single game week players, you got, let's just go through them. Kanate, Bowen, Mbumo, Salah, Barnes, Isak. The players that will be doubling, the players that will be most likely to be, that I'd imagine people trying to fully optimize and have 11 doublers out, I'd be highly stressing if I was, I wish I did have a free hit to come out of 34, etc., but I have to manage through 33 and 34, like this, and trying to optimize as best I can. And I've sort of been planning this sort of for weeks, how this is all going to play out, and it's kind of working out not too bad at the moment. I've dodged a major bullet so far in this game week 32. But people that are optimizing for this double, who are you going to be looking at? De Bruyne, minutes risk. Foden, massive minutes risk. Lots of you have already got him. Massive minutes risk. Saka, I'd love to have him. Still tempted. If I was going to bring in anyone, it probably would be Saka. But I don't think I'm going to. Still feels, I think he'll get at least 90 minutes over the 2 game weeks, and that could be enough. Now that might be across the 2 games. Now that might be enough for him to do some serious damage. But is he going to do much more damage than potentially, Salah, Bowen, or Mbumo? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. Who else you got? Rashford, minutes risk, massive minutes risk. Rodgers would probably be the safest, I think, for minutes. But again, after that massive effort by Villa again, they've still got the FA Cup to think about. There's going to be huge rotation there. Rodgers probably feels the safest if you want to go for a safe bet. I mean, he's just about started every single game, hasn't he? But again, it's got to be given a rest sometime, hasn't he? Surely. So it still again feels risky. Looking at defence, Konza, Dina, yeah, I could bring out Kanate, I could do the replacement on Gabriel, but I'd rather wait. And anyone, name anyone from City, Savignon, whatever his name is, De Bruyne, Foden, I've already spoke. They are all minutes risk. Are they actually going to get 2 games in the next 2 games? Some of them will. One of those players there that I've named will absolutely haul, probably get 2 games and come in with a mega haul. And some of you guys will probably catch them. But which one? Which one? So at the moment, and I know I'm going to fall back. It's going to be more. There's going to be. There's still some AMs active out there. I think this is a better bench boost week than game week 32. So I think people will. I don't think I'm going to dodge the bench boost bullet this week. I mean, honestly, that was amazing last week. That so many bench boosters only sort of gathered 6, 7, 8 points. And as I say, that I'm on a small green arrow at the moment is nothing short of miraculous. I thought I was going to drop back by at least 20 points or more. So, and it's still not over. Obviously, we've still got the Palace Newcastle match to go. So I could still drop back quite a bit, but there's a half chance I think of staying in that green. If Barnes and Murphy in particular do fire, but we'll see. But for this game week, I'm going to accept that I'm going to drop back. That if I roll a transfer and go with this, yes, I'm absolutely going to drop back, but hopefully it's no worse than maybe 20 or 30 points. And I think this is what I'm going to go with, and it's just might be just a question: do I go with Barnes or do I go with Murphy? Do I put both in and bring Isak out? Don't think so. I fancy Isak in that Villa fixture after the big effort, maybe a slightly rotating Villa defence. Villa a bit deflated. I think this is what I'm going to go with. I think I was going to go, and as I say, just the five doublers. But I think I've got the right single game week players out there. Bowen and Mbeumo are going to become really desirable assets post this game week with some of the fixtures that they've got. And they're 90 minutes men, as is Salah. And those three, I think, may end up playing as many minutes as some of these doublers that they're just big rotation risks at the moment. Haven't even spoken too much. About Arsenal players and people looking obviously to bring in Arsenal assets. Saka obviously I've spoken about. He's my only temptation. I would have to say Saka is my only temptation. If I was going to pull the trigger on someone, it might be to change Barnes. And I've got the cash, so I can do it in one move. I could change Barnes or Murphy into Saka. I'll see how tomorrow goes. Let's see how tomorrow. See what that looks like with the Real Madrid match. On that, everyone's acting like Arsenal are through. They are not. They absolutely are not. If I was a betting man and I had a spare 100, but I could actually. I'm not a betting man. That's why I like this game. It's gambling, but it's free. I'd be putting a sneaky 100 on Real Madrid. Honestly, I would. Get an early goal. Kiwi Orp, lovely. He's a lovely player, but it's a young lad going into the Bernabeu. Yeah, just got a funny feeling. Got a funny feeling. Again, it's going to change. If Arsenal do go out, it sort of changes the landscape again. That's when if they did go out, then I might be more inclined to bring Saka in. I have to remember as well. I think there's a reasonable gap. The other reason why I might consider Saka, there is a reasonable gap. If Arsenal do go through, they're not in the FA Cup, and then they've got a decent gap then before they've got another European match. And Saka does have to be given some decent minutes. He's got to get into a game cycle. He can't have like a 2-week break. So yeah, Saka's the only one that might tempt me. And I'm probably sort of thinking in terms of that Barnes is like my differential floating spot maybe, where the way I use it to bring in Barnes for Foden, maybe that's my little floating transfer spot where I just bring in a differential each week towards the end of the season, trying to catch some differential points. But at the moment, I'd say I'm 80% that that's how I'm going to go out. I just have to take my chances and just accept, yes, I'm going to drop back. But I go into game week 34. Just bear with me for a sec so I can get this larger on the screen. What did 34 looking like this? With transfers, with a couple of transfers. And half an eye on 36. We'll have more information by here as well, what transfers I want to make. There's 9 players there, so I can comfortably get that to 11. But those fixtures are good. I've got Jose Sa, nice fixture against Leicester. Milenkovic, not a bad fixture, home to Brentford. Konate, Tottenham home, not too bad. Munoz, we'll talk about that in a second. Salah against Spurs at home. Spurs defence, lovely. Captain's armband on him. I think if I start to feel he's just starting to find a little bit of form, maybe getting that contract signed, might give him a bit of a burst. They'll be looking to wrap up the league title. Bumo, Forest, yeah, tough enough fixture, but Bumo, it's not bad. Bowen, yeah, decent fixture. Now, Barnes, Murphy, Ipswich at home. I really do like the idea. Barnes, Murphy, and Isak. I'll talk about them as a group. If I thought they were all going to get decent minutes, certainly Isak should. One of Barnes or Murphy will get full 90, and one of them will get 30. All of those in a home fixture against Ipswich. Like it. Risky. There will be a minute's risk there. Risk I might be prepared to take. And then obviously I've got the Marmouche blank there. And on the bench, my 4 blankers. So that's when I sort of think about, yeah, I'll make my 2 transfers there. We'll have a little bit more information, I think. I think by then, yeah, we should have, shouldn't we, as to who the likely makeup of the doubles in 36. So that'll help me to plan towards that. In theory, I should have a decent amount of doublers coming out of this team already, and that will drive some of the decision making, so I can feel a little bit optimized towards that 36, but also knowing that I need players coming out of it so I can get decent 11. So the plan would be, yeah, do the 2 transfers as needed for this game week 34, and then roll, so I can make sure I've got the doublers that I want for 36, and then enough transfers coming out just to like little mini last 2 game week wildcard to optimize a little bit for 36 and 37. Players that I would certainly look at for this game week, I think, and it could be saying goodbye to Mateta maybe, depending if they're going to be doubling in 36 or whatever way it pans out. But certainly would look at Acuna up front would be great. Potentially bringing in an Arsenal defender. Just do a nice straight swap. Gabriel to Saliba or something like that, and play a little bit safe. So who've Arsenal got? Yeah, and yeah, that's a good fixture there, isn't it? Yeah, good fixture for Arsenal. Coming up after the blank. Yeah, just a little bit of better planning. Just bringing in 2 players to give me the full 11 for 34. And then, but looking at those players that I bring in, how that's going to have a knock-on effect going forward. But that team doesn't look too bad coming out in the blank at all. And as I say, for 33, it doesn't feel too bad. As I say, I know, just fully accept. This is going to be 33 is going to be a big one. As I say, for again, it's the second wave of bench boosters coming at me, but I don't think I'm losing too much. I think anyone that's doing a free hit team for 34, and there will be plenty, obviously a huge amount. Yeah, they'll burn up that chip. That's what I see. I see these chips getting burned up, but not hurting me too much. And if I can come out of that, been anywhere close to that top 100k, even 40 or 50 points. I've recovered that a few times in the season, over a couple of games with some good decisions and get myself in a position to be lucky. We might just get there. Who the hell knows? So I'll leave it at that. That may be the last you hear from me for a few days. We've obviously got, as I said, the Newcastle Palace game to come, so hopefully the electricity in the TV is still on, and I actually get to watch that. Um, and then obviously we hit this huge double. But I think that's the plan, folks. I think that's the plan. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you've got any ideas or suggestions. But at the moment, I think all things considered, and given how this game week has gone so far, and if you know by some miracle I actually do manage to hang on to any shade of green or even a small red once the Newcastle Palace match is over, it could be a lot worse. Could be a hell of a lot worse. So right, anyway, have fun, play your own game, stay safe. I'm going to go around the house now and batten down the hatches and tie down the cats. And yeah, just hopefully you see me in a few days' time, not blowing away somewhere. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.